Well, hello there. Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to the channel. I am sitting here in my editing suite today, working on the Smoky Bike Week rally video, and I wanted to jump on because this weekend is the Thunder Beach Fall Rally in Panama City Beach, which we are going to be at. So if you're planning on going to the Fall Thunder Beach Rally in Panama City Beach, which is this weekend, October 22nd through the 26th, I think officially, you need to watch this video until the end. Because while the rally is happening, there's some serious drama going on between the city and the rally that you need to know about. So we're going to talk about that today. I'm also going to cut in some footage from last year's Graybeard Biker Live that we did this time of year, where I talk about some general information for the rally and then also places to ride while you're down there. So that's what we're doing on today's Graybeard Biker. All right, so for those that have never been, or maybe for those that need a refresher as to what the Thunder Beach Bike Rally is all about, let me take you back to some clips from last year's Graybeard Biker Live that we did this time of year. I think it was on October 1st of last year that we did it. In that episode, we covered a lot of the essentials that you need to know. We talked about where the events were and where you can ride while you're down there. So let's see those. Once we get down there, Thunder Beach has some very specific hotspots. This is the map of the rally area. Now, one of the things that's good about Panama City Beach is they have this map. Not everyone does. Matter of fact, most of them don't. They used to have an app. Daytona used to have an app. I don't know if they still do that or not. It kind of tells you where everything is. But this is Panama City's Thunder Beach. And let me see if I can get rid of. So there's what, 7 different places that are considered hotspots in Thunder Beach. This is what the map looks like. You can find this readily available on their website. Now, aside from that, the roads to ride down there are a little different as well. There's what they call beachfront cruise. Now, this is just riding up and down the main strip there. So you can go from Helen Park down to St. Andrews. It's a long strip. It looks like it says here it's about 45 minutes long. You're going to ride that anyway. This is just riding it for a longer distance so that you can actually enjoy the ride itself. And then we have Lagoon Loop. This is a tour around the Grand Lagoon area. So you start your ride along Thomas Drive. You kind of circle the lagoon on North Lagoon Drive. And this area is supposed to be a little quieter than the rest of Panama City Beach. So I don't know if it is, but it says it's a little more serene, a little calmer than some of the other areas. So that would be the Lagoon Loop. And then there is the West End Loop. Now, the West End Loop starts at Pier Park. You go along Front Beach Road going west till you get to how do you pronounce this word? Carillon?
Carry-on. It's carry-on.
With the L's just start there?
Yeah.
Beach. And then you go into Camp Helen State Park and then back east along Panama City Beach Parkway. Now, some people, from what I've seen, run up to Boondocks. That's why you see that leg there. It's along North Arnold Road. I've never done that, but because it was mentioned, I put it on here anyway. So that's another ride that is there. A lot of the Panama City stuff is right there. You know, all this. If you just run around on your own, you could probably do it. And then we have Defuniak. I don't know how to pronounce this either.
Where?
Springs Run.
Right. Is that in here?
It's right here.
Yeah. Defuniak. It looks like the Funyak.
It does.
That sounds ridiculously Polish.
It starts at Pier Park as well, and then you go to Highway 98, then you go to 79 towards West Bay, then you get on to 20 near Ebro, and then north on 81 at Bruce, Florida, and then you go west onto Rock Hill Road, north onto Highway 331, Highway 280 after that out of Defuniak, and then right on South 81. Now, I know I'm saying all this really fast. You can either rewind the replay and then watch it and write it down, or if you're interested in these things, reach out to me and I'll actually send it to you so that you can kind of know what that is. Let's see. And then there's Scenic Highway 30A. Now, this one, I take the longer version. It looks like I am breaking up again. I'm going to have to restart the camera. Can you guys see me fluid or am I choppy? Let me know and I'll adjust the camera accordingly. But the Scenic Highway 30A, I like to take it from Panama City Beach to Fort Walton Beach, which is a little long. You start on 30 West, which is Front Beach Road, going away from the pier towards the west until it dead ends into Highway 90, which is Panama City Beach Parkway, and then you go left on East County Highway 30A, and that's going to dead end again into Highway 98, and then I take it into Fort Walton Beach. Now, there is a concentrated area, which is what this map is up here in the corner. That is if you don't want to take the entire. I like to run the entire coast, so I take the longer. But if you do this other, then it's shorter. But that's only if you look at the map here. That is between those two red lines, so it's a lot shorter than the route that I normally take. But it evidently stands out as the highlight of that ride. All right, so now that you know what Thunder Beach is supposed to be, let me tell you about what happened that has some people questioning whether Panama City Beach even wants the rally anymore. In May of 2024, the Spring Thunder Beach Rally was described as one journalist as doomed from the get-go. And folks, it didn't look like just happenstance. It looked intentional. First, every single concert that was advertised and promoted canceled. All of them. The bands were all lined up. People had bought their tickets planning to go see them. And then, nothing. Radio silence.
Raider base to all units. Observe radio silence.
I thought I told all of you I want radio silence until further...
I'm very sorry, Hans. I didn't get that message.
Then the city scheduled an air show the same weekend. And I'm not talking a small flyover. They shut down roads in Panama City Beach for this air show. Try navigating road closures on your bike for an air show that could have easily been scheduled some other weekend. And thirdly, construction. They had scheduled major construction all along the coastal roads, making it difficult and unwieldy. Again, starting to sound kind of suspicious.
They were very, very suspicious.
Yeah.
The result, there were 13 major accidents, 3 to 5 biker deaths, depending on which city official you want to believe. Either way, it was a nightmare.
What a nightmare.
One veteran motorcycle journalist who attended last year wrote that it would most likely be my last Thunder Beach rally. He speculated, and I'm going to quote him here, that this seemed like concerted efforts by Panama City Beach tourism and officials to discourage riders from attending. Now, if the past wasn't alarming enough, the city just passed the new ordinance 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks before the rally. Let me tell you about that. Panama City Beach City Council passes a new ordinance number 1667 that establishes what they are calling a high impact period. Or if you want to Google this, sometimes they call it HIP. So what does that mean? It means that during high density periods, read this as spring break, 4th of July, and yes, Thunder Beach, that the city can now enact emergency rules. Now, those rules are stated as including a curfew starting at 8 p.m. for unaccompanied minors. That's not going to affect us most. Most bikers are adults. Enhanced enforcement powers during these periods, which means more cops. And the ability to declare these restrictions with very little notice, which means if they decide there's too many bikers, they can just put a whole bunch of cops out there to manhandle us, I guess. Now, the mayor justified all of this by saying, and I quote, "The spring break of the 80s is not the spring break of 2025.
But the spring break of the 80s is not the spring break of 2025. This is our first step in battling what has become a violent period of the year."
But this isn't before spring break. This is before Thunder Beach.
It's a very hard image to combat just by trying to arrest our way out of this.
While they're framing it around spring break, let's make no mistake. This impacts any large event that happens in the city of Panama City Beach, including motorcycle rallies.
There are certain times of year in which people come here and they exceed the demand for public safety services than any other times of year. So there has to be special rules in place for those times of the year.
So what about spring 2025? What happened just back in April or May? Here's where it gets a little weird. While the rally technically happened, all of the venues were listed as participating. Bike Rack, Crossroads, Harley Davidson of Panama City Beach, and Frank Brown Park. Those are the major rally spots. But here's the thing. There's virtually no coverage as to how it actually went. No reviews, no news stories, no major incident reports. I didn't go to spring 2025, so I didn't even have an episode reviewing how the rally went. And for an event that typically draws tens of thousands of riders, that silence is deafening. Did the city make it so difficult that fewer riders showed up?
I'm going! I won't go!
Did the riders vote with their wheels to simply not go? The lack of information is somewhat concerning. So we're going to go down there and see for ourselves. You can expect an episode coming up from the Graybeard Biker channel after this weekend, which has all the coverage and all the thoughts on how that went. Make sure that you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so that you know when that one drops. We, of course, have several episodes from other things that we've done before that. I'll tell you right now I'm working on Smoky Mountain Bike Week. Then I have Myrtle Beach Bike Week after that, and then I have Angel City that we did. So those three rallies, those episodes are coming first. Then it'll be this one. We didn't end up going to Daytona Biketoberfest this year because I have so much to work on. But yeah, Thunder Beach, we'll be there after that. But for right now, the good news is the fall rally is happening. All major venues have confirmed that they are participating. Frank Brown Park, which is the main venue, Harley Davidson of Panama City Beach, even though they shut down early. See last episode for that. Matter of fact, right here is the playlist for all of the Panama City Beach, Thunder Beach rallies that we've done. So you're welcome to click on that. I'll also link it at the end of this episode so that you can find it. But Harley Davidson of Panama City Beach, Frank Brown Park, they're participating. The Bike Rack is participating. Crossroads, Sharky's, Hammerhead Fred's, all of them still partner venues involved in the rally. The event is still free to attend, and they will still have hundreds of vendors that attend. I know that Breezy Rider will be there because I'm going to meet up with them in their tent. If you are running around Frank Brown Park on Saturday, you might just see us there. So you can, if you run by the tent and I'm not there, just ask them if I've been by yet. because I'll be keeping in touch with them while I'm down there. Maybe we'll get to meet you there. If you see me anywhere down there, be sure to stop me and say hi. We'd love to meet you guys. They are going to have multiple bike shows, including the Urban Rides All Cycle Showdown, the Baggers and Tails Custom Bike Show. There's, of course, audio competitions, and then there's live music and entertainment, stunt shows, burnouts, that sort of thing. Now, about the headliner concerts that they used to have, I don't think they're doing those this year. I haven't heard anything about major headliners coming. So the concerns as we go into this are that, the relationship between Thunder Beach and Panama City Beach, the city, are a bit strained. What is that going to actually look like? Particularly when they're going to want to try out this new ordinance that they just passed. Now, we don't know that they're actually going to enact this emergency rules or what that's going to look like, because, as it stated, they can do it with very little notice, and you won't be told. So if all of a sudden you see more cops, that's why. Be careful. The city has a pattern of making things more difficult. So be on your best behavior. If you see more cops surrounding you, just be careful, be more mindful than you might used to be, because things that they might have let go before, like you have a turn signal that's out, something like that, you might get harassed for this time. So be on the lookout. No fear-mongering, just be careful. Pay attention. You might want to give your bike an inspection before you head down there to make sure there's nothing that you can be harassed for. Now, speaking of that, the rules when it comes to motorcycling in Panama City Beach. Florida is a no-helmet state. You do not have to wear a helmet if you're above, I think it's 18. It may be 21. I'll put the real answer to that right here. And other motorcycle-related laws, right here so that you can read them up. Screenshot this if you need to. These are motorcycle-specific laws in Panama City Beach that you need to be aware of. My take, the rally will go on as planned. Thunder Beach Productions has been doing this for the last 25 years, though they have had some changes. And it seems they're not going to let the city just kill it without a fight. I approve. But we need to be realistic. It seems like Panama City Beach is wanting to move away from the larger bike rallies, despite the economic impact that it has for the people in the city. Bike rallies bring a lot of money to the city businesses, and etc. Tallahassee canceled this year's rally in their city that they had. Now, it was brand new. We went to year 2 and 3. They didn't have year 4. Hopefully, it will come back again next year, because it's one that I wanted to see growing, right? So if you're going next week, I wrote down some advice for you. One, if you haven't already, book your accommodations now. The KOA campground has been closed. So if you were planning on staying at KOA, they don't exist anymore. They had a forced closure. I don't know the situation behind that. But there are several hotels and probably other campgrounds around there. If you haven't yet, go ahead and book those. Next, you're going to want to look at the Thunder Beach official website before you head down there. And look at the social media. In case there's any last-minute changes that may have happened, you can follow them on their Facebook for real-time updates. Also, considering the construction issues of last year, plan your routes. Know where you're going to go. In this video earlier, you see I showed lots of places where motorcyclists have little scenic rides that we do in Panama City. It's not quite like other cities as far as the abundance of riding, but there are some places, and plan on what you do and don't want to do. Make sure you don't run into any construction. Then, like I just said, ride defensively, ride cautiously. Make sure that we don't give them any more ammunition to use against us in having this rally, let alone the fact that it'll make you have a worse time. And with the accident history, be extra cautious, let alone the fact that they can now harass you at the drop of a dime. Number 5, support the vendors that are there and the area venues, right? So when you're going, go to the restaurant, let them know who you are, let them know that you enjoy being there. Go to the vendors so that they want to keep coming, because the second this becomes not profitable, it goes away. This capitalism 101. And lastly, document everything. We'll be down there with our cameras making an episode. We need to make it undeniable that this is good for the city, that people enjoy coming. So post on your social media, watch videos about the event so that we can really keep this thing alive. A lot of us enjoy going to rallies, and if the cities that they are in squish them, that's not going to be something we can do anymore. Lastly, let's talk about big picture for a second. This isn't just about Thunder Beach. This is about a larger trend in cities that have had biker rallies help build their economy, some of which that are now trying to push bikers out. They want our money, but they don't necessarily want us. Daytona has done it. Sturgis deals with this constantly. Myrtle Beach has famously tried to ban us altogether. And now, Panama City Beach seems to be giving their go at it, albeit via a passive-aggressive approach, trying just to make it more difficult for us to enjoy our time there. But here's the thing. There are plenty of beach towns that would love to have tens of thousands of bikers bringing millions of dollars to their economy. So these cities need to be careful. And we need to find organizers in the smaller towns. I've seen so many rallies come and go since I've been doing this. Cherokee used to have a rally, Cherokee, North Carolina. They don't anymore. But there is Maggie Valley, which is not too far from there. Gulfport, I went to this year. That episode's going to be right here. But it's no longer the rally that it used to be. It's now a meeting place for the banditos. While I have no problems with the banditos having a meeting place, as far as being a rally for the public, it was a huge miss for the general biker community. But we could pop up in any city. Anybody wants to have us. Tallahassee tried to build one there. Keep going. I wish we had more in Georgia. Again, I went to Angel City. You'll see that episode coming up. That's one that's in Georgia. Georgia has actually tried to do it. We had one at Powers Crossroads in Coweta County 1 year, and it did not go well because they tried to put it on the same weekend as another rally. It failed miserably. They tried to do one, I think, for 2 years in the mountains. That didn't work. They had one in Helen, Georgia, called Destination Helen. That closed down a couple of years ago. Now there is Biker Nation's Family Reunion, which is also in Helen. There's that one. Again, episode right here because we went to that one. And then there's also Angel City, which I can't put right here because I haven't edited yet. This was our first time going. Again, make sure you're like and subscribed and notified and all of that garbage so that you know when that one drops. But regarding this weekend, yes, go to Thunder Beach. Support the local businesses, but pay attention to how you're treated. If the city makes it clear that they don't want us, maybe Thunder Beach Productions should move to Destin or some other city that's not far from Panama City Beach. We're not married to Panama City Beach. There's plenty of other places you can take this to. All right, so that's it. That's everything you need to know about the upcoming weekend and Thunder Beach rally. Now, I want to hear from you in the comments. Are you planning on going next weekend? Have you ever been to Thunder Beach before? Let other people know what your experience was. This used to be one of my favorite rallies because of the long stretches of parallel roads that you can ride up and down with groups of other riders. And let me know, after you go, or if you were in the spring rally, did you feel like Panama City Beach was trying to push you out? Let's talk about it. Let me know. If you're heading down there, ride safe, have fun. And again, if you see us, please stop in and say hi. We'd love to say hi to you. We'll feature you here on the channel in that episode. Unless you're camera shy, no pressure. So, until then, stay free. Keep it shiny side up.